based on, like I said, we are scientifically socialist in our own approach. We've been able to look at society and we're like, there's a problem with drug, right? And how do we bring that awareness, right? What are the methods we can use to let the society understand the problem, right? And also bring out the solutions from the problem they understand. To our own interests.
It is to our interest, but in our not coming together also.
It is to their own interest.
It is to their own interest, but to our detriment.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
Exactly.
So, welcome, familia. Welcome to Sabi podcast.
So,
today's episode. Before we get to today's episode, first of all, I want to thank all our viewers, all our listeners for sticking with us. We appreciate the love, we appreciate the support, especially through our recent transitioning. So we recently transitioned from our previous name to our new name, which is the Sabi podcast. And our niche still remains the same. This is the podcast where we discuss realities, ideologies, and how they shape the Nigerian society. Today, I have a special guest with me.
I'm Comrade J by name.
Thanks for joining Sabi podcast.
Yeah.
So I'll briefly introduce you and why we have today's episode.
Exactly.
So Comrade J is one of our wonderful comrade in MOP. If you don't know what MOP is, go and make your findings. And maybe in the course of the conversation, we would touch on that topic. But for now, so I met my comrade in MOP, and I've been able to be a witness to some of the great works he has been doing. Some of these great works involves working with some certain organizations. Comrade J would touch on that in a minute. Before we go on, this episode, is very important in the history of this podcast because for over a year now, we've basically been doing audio production. So today is the first time we are bringing video production to our wonderful and faithful listeners and viewers.
That's 100%.
Thanks, my comrade. Comrade J, please take it from there.
So nice to have myself. I can see Comrade Boston in the house. Nice to be on this podcast, Sabi podcast, and it's good to see what this podcast can do.
Definitely.
As a platform, for the rest older generation.
Definitely.
Good to have you here with me and me here with you also.
Definitely, comrade. So we'll speak on today's episodes for our listeners, for our viewers. We'll be looking at redefining learning. This episode was inspired by some of the great works that our comrades have been doing, our comrades in MOP especially. Comrade J, please talk to us about redefining learning, the organization that is sponsoring this program and how you've been able to achieve the objectives and what are the objectives and how you've been able to achieve them. So first of all, let's take it from what is this organization and the job that you do there.
So Panafriconnect podcast, we have a podcast, but we have an organization, right? We as comrades, we understood the situation of our nation.
Okay.
And we decided that it's time that we start coming together, right? It's time that we start connecting, right? Based on what we believe in, based on the ideologies we bring into the table. So we created this Panafriconnect, which is the organization.
Sorry to cut you. You mentioned we comrades. Comrades, are these comrades from MOP?
And we have some comrades from MOP. Okay. We still have some external comrades that are not really in the movement of the people.
Okay, but we are grounded in the same socialist
ideology. Same socialist ideology, same understanding our culture, understanding our heritage, understanding the principles, right? That can propel us, to become better people.
So would you? Oh, okay. You mentioned Panafriconnect. I was going to ask: is this organization African-centered?
Very African-centered. Very African-centered. And we're still going to discuss that.
Yeah.
Very African-centered. We've been able to study the teachings, right, of these institutions we have right now, and it's high time we move forward, right? And that's what we're trying to do with our learning hub.
I was going to touch on that quickly. Talk to us about Panafriconnect and how they've been able to come up with this program, redefining learning? That is.
For Panafriconnect, like I said, it's just comrades with the same ideology, right? We are scientifically socialist in our own approach, right? We try and look at the society, see the problems within our society, and see where we can solve those problems. Given the little resources we have, given the little support we have, right? So we've come together and we're like, what are the problems in our society?
How can we solve them?
And how do we solve them? We can see the problems of drug, right? And drug abuse.
Yeah, because I was seeing in some of your social media updates, I saw that you did an educational program recently.
Yeah, we did our first campaign.
So that's also for this program, Redefining Learning.
Yeah, this is
sponsored
by Panafriconnect. Exactly.
Please go on, talk to us about that.
We, based on, like I said, we are scientifically socialist in our own approach. We've been able to look at society and we're like, there's a problem with drug, right? And how do we bring that awareness, right? What are the methods we can use to let the society understand the problem, right? And also bring out the solutions from the problem they understand.
That's interesting. So bringing it back down to that program that I saw on your social media updates, because I saw children, I saw a few adults too. I saw writing and learning materials.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw projector. I saw basically learning materials.
Yeah.
So, can you talk to us about how you were able to, the methodology now?
Exactly.
That you used.
So, like I said, we understand that our educational system is quite abstract, right? So we in our redefining learning, we had to the first episode, we had to look at how do we bring in a new kind of learning to our students, right? A learning that is more digitalized, right? That they can see for themselves, right? They can that they can go into the streets and talk to people that have the same problem, right? And that was the method we're able to use. And from these experiments, we're able to see great results. The students were engaged, the people that we discussed with were engaged, the community was really engaged in ensuring that, we brought out this beautiful idea out.
Can you take us through some of the tools you used carrying out these experiments? How did the children and the community that you engaged in, how did they, what was their reaction to this?
Their reaction was very good.
Were they welcoming? Did you
really welcoming? From the teachers to the parents.
So you were able to source for teachers for this program?
Exactly. We had 2 teachers, right?
From the organization?
From the organization, okay. We had 2 teachers, and we're able to give them a different method because we understand that in our reality right now, it's more of the teacher teaching and the student learning, right? But from this program, we're able to tell the teacher that the student also has to be their own teachers, right? They have to bring in their own mind, their own mindset, their own
they need to apply themselves.
Exactly, their own data to the table, right? And that's what we did. We made the focus on the students. The students were the one that even teaching us, and it was, we gave them that free creative space, to express themselves.
And I also saw the setting of the learning hub, especially for this program, Defining Learning. It was like, when children come together to learn, taking it back now to pre-colonial Africa.
Exactly.
When children come together to learn, maybe from an elder in the community, that they forming a circle around that elder. That was because that was the
that's another problem within even our society, that we can't even come together as as a community. So in this program, we're like, let's bring the students together, let them get to understand themselves. Even within this group, they had leaders, they had spokespersons among these children in their different groups. We had about 5 groups of students, 5 students in each group. So we had about 25 students. At the end of the program, we had almost 30 students.
Sorry to cut you. How were you able to group these children? Is it did you use their skills Or did you use
we told them to pick, if you are good in, if you have good leadership
interest?
skills,
Okay.
some of them said, they have good leadership skills, if you're good in speaking, all of them within their group, there were different students that were able to, express themselves. So what we did was, if there was any task, they pass it around, everyone bring in their own ideas, and then they put it together, and the spokesperson, speak for them. It was
Meaning
really
that everybody
really interesting. Even at some point, there was a girl that was crying because our group was not really doing
I was getting to that. What exactly did you talk to them about? Drug abuse?
Drug abuse, say no to drugs. We give them different methodology how to, stay confident, right, in saying no to drug. Understanding the different aspects, how drug play in our own society, from the environment to our social, to the psychology,
even to the individual now.
To the individual itself, right? So we're able to explore all this field, right? And it was quite interesting,
How did these your children, your students, what's their age range?
We had students from 13 to about 20. Wow. 20 years of age, yes.
So what did any of them have any experience with drugs? Any of those children?
They had a whole lot of experience, Some of
was
them,
it personal or
based on the environment, like I said earlier, based on the environment, some of them were talking about how the people they went out with, spoke on depression, because of depression, because of the situation of the nation,
economic situation
of the nation. That's some were even talking about,
so we have children feeling the pressure already.
As in, like, imagine? I was quite surprised when they were mentioning a whole lot of names of different drugs that people take in the society
just to
escape that the pressure, the economic pressure, right, that they're facing.
These are
young minds.
Yeah, I know.
Young minds.
Are those experiences their own, or maybe they saw
external?
Maybe a brother,
they had to go
a friend or someone.
Their brothers, people that do work, and there was even an example of the one that that is not really even mentally stable, right? That was an example that they brought it's just a guy outside that everyone knows, right?
Like an adult, right?
An adult also.
Wow. That's interesting.
It was crazy, crazy bits. At the end of the day, like I said, we're able to use this methodology, and interestingly enough, some of the students were not really able to express themselves in the first day.
In
the beginning, right? But at the end, they were all over the place. We had debate on rehabilitation and punishment, right?
But how do you think sorry to cut you, how do you think you were able to bring out their expression? I mean, or their confidence now?
Because based on they were working in groups, they were representing their group. That's one thing we told them, you're not just representing yourself, you're representing your full group, right? And they were able to, internalize that, to push themselves. Even when some of them were kind of shaky, in expressing themselves, their group was there to motivate
support
them,
That's one thing I've noticed, in our conventional schools.
It's just we are so individualistic,
even the setting of the classroom. Everybody's just
on
it,
as in.
How can you learn? And when you are doing tests, when you are doing exam, don't tell anybody. Don't talk to anybody.
As a real competition. Real competition. There's no. It's not like how do we even cooperation? How do you produce something good?
Exactly. Not I want my child to be the first,
as in
second, third, first, and then we reward these children according.
And we're just
chasing.
And we're not even finding real solutions.
Man, you're over 60 years of Western education in this country. What has it solved?
And that's why we're saying, we have to change. We have to change our approach on how we take education. It's really important, if we really want to transform society, and that's what we've been able to see. It's really important that we look for better method, better method in training our students. What we've also come to understand is we didn't only just do the learning within indoors, right? We had to go out there.
To the streets.
We had to go out there to source for information and data. And it was really interesting.
With these children,
it was really interesting what we got back and how they were also able to, find solutions, to this problem.
you touched on something earlier about changing the approach, but it's easier said than done. It's easier said
It's
than
very
done
hard to bring people together. It's very hard to bring people together and thinking for solutions, and that's what we said is redefining learning.
Yeah, and also you said. Oh, I think I said this in our conventional schools. The way we learn, is mostly theoretical.
Abstract.
Thank you. Who is the president of Nigeria?
You have to use your imagination. You can't even see you can't even see the president for yourself. It's crazy.
Yeah. So yesterday was Tinubu's birthday, and Nigerians were in no mood to celebrate. But the president, and his lack of class consciousness, came out to celebrate his birthday while millions of Nigerian children, are hungry. And yes, millions are also out of school.
100%.
Millions are out of school.
100%.
So tying it back now to the topic, redefining learning. For those that are just joining us now, redefining learning is a program, that was
birthed by Panafriconnect. And we
it's
are
being headed by the Learning Hub of Panafriconnect.
Yeah, that's the Learning Hub of Panafriconnect. Redefining Learning was our first episode in Ikorodu Agbowa Ikosi.
So that was where this
first one happened.
Wow.
Shout out to Comrade J, shout out to Comrade Master Juwon, Master Babalola, and the rest. Without them, I don't think we would have been able to achieve this first episode.
So Comrade Adegoke is also part of Panafriconnect.
Yeah, it's a very strong member, a very, very strong member.
That's interesting.
Panafriconnect.
That's interesting. I love that we are putting faces to our work, because there are so many comrades, so many amazing Nigerians that I've met, in this liberation struggle. But
and that's the beautiful thing about our own ideology. Like I said, we are scientifically socialists, right? It's all about cracking your own creativity and putting your mark in the sand of time. And that's what we're trying to do, right? How do we save our society? How do we look into the problems of our society and find solutions? And also, how can that society also support these ideas, centered around their own solutions, right? And that's what we're trying to do, playing our own little role in our sovereign rights.
Oh, that's interesting. I had no idea Comrade Adegoke was part of this.
And we also need more people like Comrade Adegoke.
I was actually getting there.
Exactly.
I was getting there. How do we support this movement? How do we support
you can reach us through the panafriconnect.org website, right?
What about social media?
We also have our own social media, Panafriconnect. We also have we're also creating the Learning Hub itself. So when you get to the website, when you get to online, when you get to the website, if you want to volunteer, you can go through the Learning Hub tab, and you can sign for being a volunteer.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I would like for you to talk to my viewers and audience.
Okay.
I'm sure you are familiar with our niche. What would be that one takeaway that you would like to give to our viewers and listeners? And don't forget to
100%. It's the power lies in us, right? When we come together. And since now the Sabi, podcast, I believe say everybody we be more Sabi now. Everybody wants Sabi now. So it's the power lies in us. We are the one that are going to recreate the future we want to see. It begins with an imagination, then an idea, and then we bring it out
to life,
to our reality. And that's what we are trying to do. And that's why we call for support.
So in one word, you would say That's okay. 2 words now. Coming together.
Yes.
In one word, unity.
Unity.
You know.
You know,
Because
I see again, they call it, Panafriconnect, African people connecting with each other, so it's very important.
Definitely. And, in our coming together, it is to our benefit.
100%. It has to be to our own interest.
It is to our interest, but in our not coming together also,
it is to their own interest.
It is to their own interest, but to our detriment.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
Exactly.
So, this year especially, I would love for Nigerians, regardless of your religion, regardless of your
race, your creed,
your moral beliefs, your creed, whatever it is, find ways to, connect with individuals that are, pushing this envelope of liberation. If you cannot come and do it yourself, let your money do it for you. Let 100%. Your platform do it for you. Let your
resource, your human resource, your capital resource, all your resource,
definitely
put it. They say, put your mouth where your money is. Put your mouth where you can, make a change. Because that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to make our own change in our own little way. And when we come together, we can make, bigger changes.
Exactly. Because in coming together, we get to articulate our problems, our issues, and from speaking on these issues, before you know, solutions will start coming up.
We are the best now. That's why we be Africans now. We are the father of civilization,
the mother,
right?
Mother of civilization.
I say I like my papa too much, but we are the mother.
Yeah, we are the mother of the world. So
I
believe you. We must lead the way.
Exactly.
Show the way. What do you see in this children's future? What are the objectives you aim to achieve? With the proper launch and proper, with the proper launch of this program, what do you aim to achieve? And what are those objectives you aim to achieve in the lives of these children or in the society at large?
The Learning Hub is a platform for creating positive change, right? And we want the students to become that change agents within their own society. We want to be able to let them become, decision maker of change within their own community and society, right? So, and that's why we have the Learning Hub. It's a platform for them to know their own talents and
capitalize on it,
and then run with their talents to make change within their society.
That's interesting. But for the society now at large,
it's when we start coming together with our different solutions.
So like Panafriconnect and Sabi podcast.
Exactly. Panafriconnect and Sabi podcast and LibGen. Very, very important because they really play the key instrument role in ensuring that this.
We have a very able comrades in LibGen. I think Comrade Black Revolution, Comrade Fagunwa.
No, Comrade Fagunwa is not in LibGen, but it was also on the podcast.
Yeah, because I saw they did an episode. Recently.
We have great comrades, in LibGen. Like I said, we are trying to rise to, create these changes, and different people with the same ideology of socialism, ideology of, Africa for Africa, we are coming together to create that big change in the life of our society.
So what's next now for the Learning Hub? Learning Hub of Panafriconnect. What's next? What can we look forward to? Yeah.
We are coming into different societies, different communities, and we already have a map.
Just like you are now here in my community.
Exactly. We can always bring the Learning Hub, to this community, because at the end of the day, it's giving the students soft skills. It's also giving them skills for their own survival, life skills, so that they can be able to strive.
That's interesting. So, and do you have any upcoming program?
We have different programs in Panafriconnect. Like I said, Learning Hub is just one of our department, right? We have our agricultural, projects we're working on. We have our podcast also, a platform for change for positivity. We also have soccer and freestyle, right?
Freestyle as in rap?
rap, conscious rap, just bring out your talents, with the sports, because sport also is a powerful tool, that can create change.
Exactly. And it's a very good way to engage people.
Exactly, not just children. Sport has a wide audience.
Definitely.
And if you can utilize that audience for change, why not? We gotta take it as it comes, right? So that's what we're working on. And we also have the Teens Club, right?
For teenagers,
where they just come, do your drawings, do paintings,
just like a creative outlet for them.
Creative outlets so that they can be able to show their talents. So we have big stuff, we have some big stuff, coming.
Right. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming to share this learning, this program with us. And if there are anybody that wants to support Comrade J here has given out,
just go to our website, and then fill in the form if you want to be a volunteer. Definitely. If you want to bring the learning up to your community, just fill in the form and we'll take it from there.
Beautiful, comrade. Thanks for coming on the show.
Sabi, not too much, man. Not too much. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Viewers and listeners, thank you so much for staying this far. As you all know, we've rebranded to the Sabi Podcast. Do well to follow us on YouTube at Sabi Podcast. Do well also to follow us on Instagram at Sabi Podcast. If you have Twitter, I will not, because of Elon Musk, start calling Twitter X.
I did tell you, sounds to switch and more.
For the sake of
the Gen Zs,
the new world now.
Okay.
Find X. If you have X, please follow us on all social media platforms at Sabi Podcast. See you in the next one.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it again. Nice one.
Comrade.
Thank you.